How do you feel about her? Because I know you made a comment earlier saying that she don't claim her black side.
House Nick, just like Barack Obama, they do what they need to do to stay close to the white power structure. She made a career locking up black people. This is the same woman who went on international television, Art. Let me remind you, about a year or two ago,
She's not black. She's Blasian.
and said America is not a racist country. You want me to go vote for a so-called black woman who went on international television and told the world that America is not a racist country? She spit in the face of the family of Trayvon Martin. She spit in the face of the family of Breonna Taylor. She spit in the face of the family of Michael Brown, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Amir Locke, Dante. We can go on and on. Tamir Rice, all the Africans murdered by police, which are state-sanctioned executions. Let us be clear. The police are agents.
Umar should stick to topics like this. This is his bread and butter, and stay away from school finesses like FDMG. This is where he's in rare form.
Of the state. When the police kills a black person, that is a state-sponsored execution. And in response to all this racism, the execution of George Floyd, this part-time black woman says America is not racist. And when I say part-time, Art, I'm not poking fun at her because she's being mixed race. I want to be clear. I'm poking fun at her because she can rarely be found speaking up for black people. My issue ain't her being mixed race. Nobody's responsible for how they come into this world. My issue with her is not identifying with her people. I remember another interview I saw with Kamala Harris, Art, and she said, somebody asked her, what are y'all going to do for black people? And she said, we can't pass laws just for black people. She said this, we can't do things just for black. Well, Kamala Harris, can I ask you a question, Madam Vice President? If the Democratic Party can't do anything just for black people, why did y'all pass a law only for Asians? Why did y'all pass a law only for Native Americans? Why did y'all pass a law only for transgenders?
You got a solid point there. Solid point. Like I said, this is you're seeing Umar at his best and brightest right here.
Why did y'all pass a law only for LGBTQs? Why did y'all pass a law only for immigrants? If you can't do anything just for black people, this is what she said. It came out of her mouth. If you can't do anything just for black people, how was it possible for you and President Biden to do all these other things for specific ethnic groups in this country from whose benefit no other group can take anything from? Complete contradiction. Kamala Harris is not for black people. But you know what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you why they went that way. Or if they stay that way, they could flip her out. But let's say, for the sake of conversation, because Joe Biden did pass her his nomination, even though it's not his decision. She has his support, but the party got to choose her in Chicago. But
yeah, it's looking very likely that'll probably happen. I think a week or two, Democratic National Convention is coming up.
Let's say Kamala Harris gets the Democratic Party nomination in Chicago the week of my birthday, August 19th, I believe the DNC begins, or the 17th.
Leo season.
Anyhow, here's why they're going to go that way, Art. Why are the Democrats about to give us the first woman president in American history? I'm going to tell you why. In 2022, there were 10 million more women registered to vote than men in America. Now, I'm talking everybody, Art. Black, white, red, yellow, brown, gay, straight, everybody. There were 10 million more women registered to vote than men, even though there's only about 3 more million women than men in this country. Population-wise, there's not a great gender disparity. You only see that when you come to the black community for reasons of extermination, incarceration, okay, miseducation, right, and sexual confusion, right? So outside of black America, the male-female gender balance is almost the same. I believe there's 168 million adult women in America, and there's about 165 million adult men in America. So you only have a 3 million person discrepancy. Now, those 10 million votes, there's 10 million more women registered to vote than men are. Elections have been decided by votes less than 10 million. You've had elections decided by 1 million. You had elections.
Now, I'm not sure if the numbers that he quoting are actually factual, but if they are, like I said, I'll have to fact check that. I mean, it's a pretty good strategy by the Democratic Party. Um, Honestly, if you just look at it purely from a strategic standpoint, it's pretty smart, pretty well calculated, and honestly, it makes sense. Like I said, if those numbers hold, that makes perfect sense. I mean, I don't think it's going to work ultimately, but for the situation that they're in, I mean, it's probably the best plan they could go with at this point.
Decided by 2 million. You've had elections decided by 3 million. You've had elections decided by 700,000 votes. If there's 10 million more women registered to vote than men in America across all race, colors, and class, if we nominate Kamala Harris as the Democratic Party's president, can she bring us those women votes, those undecided women? Can Kamala Harris bring us all the poor black women, the working class black women, the upper class? Can she bring us the white middle class women? Can she bring us the poor white women? They are banking on the fact that there's 10 million more women than men registered. And if we stick Kamala Harris out there for us, can she bring us the greatest share of those 10 million female votes? Here's what it's going to come down to. Do white women prefer a woman of color or a white man?
And we already know the answer to that question. They're going to vote for Donald Trump.
That's what it's going to do. White American women prefer to have a white man in the presidency or a woman of color? And you know what I think, Art? I'm not completely decided, but I would say to you, wasn't this question already answered for us when Donald Trump took on Hillary Clinton?
Bingo.
Did not America's white women choose Trump over Clinton? When it came time for the Electoral College to cast them votes, they went with Trump. So if they chose Trump over Clinton, here's the question, Art. If American white women chose Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton the first time Trump ran against a Democratic female, why would they switch and choose Kamala Harris over Trump the second time? If they chose Trump over a very well experienced, very popular Hillary Clinton the first time, why would they switch and now choose a black woman, half black, half South Asian, half?
I mean, this assessment is spot on. Like I said, I don't see them switching at all.
East Indian. Why would they choose a black woman over Trump when they didn't even choose Hillary Clinton over Trump? But I'm telling you this, brother. I'm going to the Democratic National Convention. I'm going to try to get there because that's going to be a circus. You ain't seen a show in your life like what you're about to see, because they got to outdo Hulk Hogan. They got to outdo Amber Rose.
He said it's going to be a coon fest.
They got to outdo Ben Carson. You want to see a house coon show in Chicago like you have never seen. I cannot wait to see which rapper. I cannot wait to see which rapper, which basketball player, which football player, which comedian, which actor. I cannot wait to see which one.
One thing I will mention, I don't think celebrity endorsements have the same influence that they once had compared to maybe about 15, 20 years ago. I mean, now that we're living in the information age, everyone has smartphones, walking around in their pocket, in their hand. Like I said, people are more well informed, and I don't think celebrity endorsements, like I said, have the same effect that they once did maybe 20, 30 years ago.
Of these house Nick celebrities is going to go to bat for the Democratic Party. And here's my thing, Art. I'm not dismissing the black celebrities for speaking at the Democratic National Convention just for that reason. I'm dismissing them, Art, because they're going to go up there, show up and show out for the Democrats without a single promise to their community, without a single pledge to their community, without a single concession to their community. With all we've been through and all we about to go through, how the hell can you fly your ass to Chicago, basketball player, football player, rapper, actor, dancer, singer, comedian? How can you go up there and show out for Kamala Harris, who never did a damn thing for black people? That's my issue. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Every black person listening to me, on November the 5th, you need to be in a black community when the election results are read. My bougie Nick living in the suburbs, living in an all-white community, you do not want to be caught outside on November the 5th if Donald Trump loses. Because here's my thinking, Art. We only got 3 months and a few weeks to the presidential election. Let me say that again.
All right, here go Umar coming in with this conspiracy theory talk. I mean, I was rocking with the brother. He was making some good points, and now he's starting to go a little left.
We only got 3 months and a few weeks to the presidential election on November 5th. You mean to tell me Joe Biden backs out with 3 months left, anoints Kamala to his spot? She only got 3 months to campaign, and you still going to beat a very popular Donald Trump? Do you think the American people are going?
I don't see that happening. I think it's very unlikely. I'd be shocked if that ultimately happened.
To believe Donald Trump lost fairly after y'all tried him in court, convicted him in court? And I know we'll get later to the artificial assassination, but nonetheless, do you really think Americans are going to believe Kamala Harris beat Donald Trump straight up? I'm not too sure about that. And if poor white America thinks they were robbed of this election, that January 6th takeover, that was nothing but a pool party for what you're about to see in this country if Donald Trump loses this election. I would not want to be a black person in a white neighborhood on November the 5th, 2024, when those presidential election results are read and Donald Trump is not the winner. I believe white folks are going to show up and show out, Art. You better have a gun, a knife. Black people better exercise, what is it, our Second Amendment rights? Right to carry, is that the Second Amendment or the Fourth?
I want to say the second.
I think it's the second. Black folks better exercise their right to carry. You better buy every gun, every bullet you got, because if Donald J. Trump loses this election, going against a Democrat who had 3 months to run, you had 3 months to run and you beat Donald Trump, white America gonna flip off, Art. I'm going to make sure I'm ready, brother. Make sure you're ready. And I want all my American Africans out there. I
think Umar's being a little extreme here. Like I said, I think it's highly, highly unlikely that Trump loses this election. Like I said, whether it was Biden, Kamala Harris, Clinton, whoever else they throw up there, they was going to make this change. They should have made this change 6 months ago.
If you live in America, especially if you're in a city that's predominantly white, if you're in a state that's predominantly white, you know, we in Philly, which is half black, half white, 50-50, you know what I mean? But black people, please be prepared for what can happen on these streets if Donald J. Trump loses that election. And to that point, Art, this is why I think the shadow government has a lot of deciding and a lot of reasoning and a lot of debating to do. Because here's the thing, Art. If you steal the election from Trump and give it to the Democratic Party, whether it's Kamala or anyone else, because you want to make sure China doesn't take over Africa, and you want to make sure China doesn't take over the Caribbean, and you want to make sure China doesn't take over second and third world, Central and South America. So you want a Democrat in there because Democrats have always had better relationships with black countries. If you do that, you might win the world, but you might lose America Because if these white folks flip out, Art, look, let's be honest. The American public has more weapons than the American military. Let me say that again. The American public, 350 million people, they have more guns than the US military. Now, the military has better weapons. The military has better weapons, but the people have more weapons. American military is no more than 500,000 people, Art. There's no more than 500,000. How are you going to put 500,000 against 350 million with more weapons? You're not winning that. If the US military has to go to war with her own citizens, I believe the US military will lose. And I believe a lot of people in the US military will side with the American people. And by American people, I mean white American people. So the National Security Agency, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderbergers, the Federal Reserve, the Trilaterals.
I feel like I said, I hinted at this earlier. I could tell Umar is about to go left into, down the rabbit hole. Illuminati, the Bilderbergers, that Alex Jones talk. Like I said, he's going a little left here, but let's continue.
The Illuminati, the House of Rome, the Rothschilds, the Wahlbergs, the Morgans, the Stanleys, the Rockefellers, they got to ask themselves, if we rob Donald Trump so we can maintain Africa and the Caribbean, will that lead to social unrest in America? Will America degenerate into chaos? Will we have to evoke martial law? That's a hell of a decision to make. Do I go for the resources or do I maintain American status quo? Because Art, if America breaks down internally, China is the new superpower. The only thing keeping China from being the world superpower right now is this country. If this country descends into chaos, China runs the world. Does the power structure, does the secret government of this country really want China in charge?
Yeah, I think he's reaching a little bit there. Like I said, China has their own issues. Like I said, the thing that's kept America at at the top for so long is, like I said, our military is extremely strong. So yeah.
That's the question.
Yeah, that's real talk. And speaking of Kamala, that's Montel Williams' old joint, right?
I believe they dated. I believe they dated.
Says that Montel Williams old joint though. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with Dr. Umar regarding Kamala Harris? Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.